Ready to embark on a journey of limitless curiosity? Join us on the Being Curious Show, where we curiously connect teachers and seekers in a safe space, exploring a vast array of topics that spark the flame of curiosity within you. We've created a community for thoughtful discussions where teachers share their wisdom and seekers explore the depths of their curiosity. It's a space where diverse perspectives come together, fostering connection and understanding. Our intention is simple: to ignite your curiosity and create a life that totally lights you up. Every conversation is a journey, a chance to explore, learn, and embrace the magic that life has to offer. Connect with the Being Curious Show on all major podcast platforms at the Edge Network, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at the Being Curious Show. Hey, party people, it is Kelly. Welcome back. It's another Being Curious Show. We're doing it again. I'm so incredibly blessed, and I know I say this probably in most of the shows, of just the people that I get to connect with and to collaborate with and to ask a lot of curious questions with. Because, if you lead with curiosity, I think this is a lesson for life, right? If you lead with curiosity, you can get people to open their hearts and open their minds and share their magic and their experience. And today is going to be exactly in that timeline and that frequency. So I have a magical guest that is doing so many things for the world and our planet and consciousness and our community. And he is here, there, and everywhere. So I'm going to introduce a little information on Frank beforehand and then bring him on in. How's that sound? Let's go. Frank Buelow has been on a wild and crazy journey. It's been a blended of challenges and triumphs. From a young age, he faced family mental health struggles, physical abuse, depression, suicidal thoughts, and substance misuse. These experiences sparked his interest in the mind, perceptions, and later spirituality. He is a man that is on a mission and has a beautiful partner in crime, does wellness here, there, and everywhere. Right? I actually met him at a show, and we were next to each other, and we just started collaborating and talking. And we're like, we need to lean in together. And he's definitely a friend of the Edge community. He's also spearheading and the ambassador of the 1111 Collective Connection, which we're going to jump into right now. Frank, welcome to the show.
Hey there, Kelly. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Where do you want to begin? Because we could go so many different places. We could talk about your history. We could talk about the 1111 Collective Connection. There's so many different ways. So maybe, we can start with, what are you curious about and what got you here?
Well, man, there are so many things that make me curious, and it's been shifting quite a bit as of late, and things keep on opening up, and I keep on going into new avenues, which is amazing and great, because you don't want life to get stale. And for a while there, life did get kind of stale, but things have really opened up into a lot of different avenues now, like we were talking about earlier, and what is that, next weekend? So the weekend after Easter. I know that this may come out after that, but we're going to be down in the Ozark Mountain UFO conference. So
what's bringing you to Arkansas on a UFO conference? I mean, let's just go right there.
Right. Then, I mean, okay, I didn't expect that we'd start here, but let's do it, because it's just really interesting. So last year in 2025, we went to a conference called Contact Modalities Expo. When we signed up for it, we were going to metaphysical fairs, and we had been going to metaphysical fairs since September of 2020. Just putting it out there, helping people out through the pandemic with wellness, and then after, of course, and trying to help people, open up spiritually and heal and connect. So when we went to Contact Modalities Expo, we didn't really understand what we were kind of stepping into. This was our first experience with the UFO community. And yeah, right. I was like, okay, this is kind of interesting. I don't know. Do I believe? Well, I don't believe that we're the only things within the universe that has intelligence and that, can communicate the way that we do. So it was really kind of a jump into a new world, and I loved it. It was great. The people that were coming in were extremely conscious. They were very aware. They seem to kind of be more open to things than, say, the average person. Um, so if you really want to categorize average as whatever, but so it was really, really cool. And it started opening my eyes to something totally different, something that I hadn't really looked into before, maybe just, touching on certain aspects of UFOs or alien type technology, finding out that they're not really appreciating to be called aliens. So interstellar beings. So that it just, with everything that I've been kind of leaning into and moving towards that next area of understanding more about consciousness and where it's not just us, it's not just a singular group consciousness, then it becomes much larger and much grander when you start opening up to other species that aren't here. And then, as we spoke earlier as well, about the different things like Sasquatch or fairies or dwarfs or, whatever it is, there are people within the human race that actually can communicate and see them. And to think that they are mentally ill or that deluded or deranged, that's old time thinking. They're actually, there's a number of practitioners, professional within the field of psychology and psychiatry that think that or understand that people like schizophrenics basically have their foot in this world and another. And that's the experience that they're coming through with. And that's what they're experiencing. So old time thinking is, oh, they're mentally ill. Well, no, they're actually more connected than most people are. And we just don't have an understanding of it. So we're afraid of it. So I know
like
that
the autistic community, right? They're beyond
right,
verbal. They're not nonverbal. They're
correct,
beyond verbal, right?
correct. And actually, okay, I'll talk about the 1111 a little bit, the 1111 collective connection. It is coming to be a coaching app with a whole lot more. But within the process of developing it, I brought in a lot of different practitioners. And one of those practitioners is Marianne Morris. And Marianne Morris, her first child is autistic. And I'll let her explain the entire story. So if you want to come onto the app and become a member and listen to her story, she tells a great story about it. But ultimately, she has a different way of communicating with her child now because of him being autistic. And so they actually have a telepathic connection. And so when he's off at school, she understands what he's going through, how he's experiencing things. If he wants to connect with her, then he will, and he will share with her what's going on. And I feel like that is just so amazing. And just those things aren't openly talked about in just the general public. And I know that there's a lot of people that probably whispered, back and forth about that back in the day about, and gossiping about that this person's crazy or that person's crazy because, they hear things or think that they're experiencing something. But yeah, it is really amazing where we're going with telepathy, our connection, our consciousness. It's pretty wild, very wild.
It's fantastic.
Isn't it though? It really is.
You guys, it was really funny. Like we were, I always try to have carve out a little time before a show and just reconnect with our guests. And we were talking for like 45 minutes. I'm like, we should probably start hitting record because we're having such great conversations that people need to be dialed in with, right? I mean, it was just, and we get to talk about this stuff. This is what's fun. I mean, I
Very.
was sharing about a book that I just finished, and oh, by the way, she said that um, they're not interstellar beings. They think that we smell. And I thought that was fascinating. I was like, oh, they think we smell.
Yeah.
Letting everyone know I'm going to have Dr. Gail McCord on the show in the coming weeks, and she is a intergalactic ambassador. And I just finished her books, and they're fascinating. And I'm really excited to keep that conversation going. So I'm gonna plug in that for now. But that's the little backstory on why I just told Frank that the beings think that we smell. So let's talk before we really jumped into the 1111 collective connection, which is just really excited to be a part of. Tell me more about Buelow Wellness. And I know that you have it with your beautiful partner, and you are a Reiki master, and you're a teacher, and QHHT and BQH, but you have so many different modalities. You're showing me like the Mary Poppins carpet bag. You're like, I have this, and I have this, and I have this. So let's talk about a little bit of that, because if without that foundation, the 1111 collective connection wouldn't have been birthed. Or you're in labor now.
Yeah, not even close. Well, I think, just to kind of go back to the very beginning of my life, it's been leading to all of this, obviously, and that's one of the big things throughout my time of, with Buelow Wellness and with the 1111 is figuring out that I've always been on this path. It's not something new. And it's the same thing for everybody. You're always on your path, no matter what you think, no matter where you are, no matter how you feel, things are like not looking right for me. Well, you might be right that they're not looking right, but you're on the right path. And you just need to readjust and refocus and understand what it is that you're being taught. So with all of my childhood and my upbringing, like I know Kelly talked about in the intro, that there was mental illness within my family. And yes, my father had schizophrenia. So by the time that I was 2, he was out of the household, which left my mother to take care of me. And then through her being frustrated, raising a boy who she really didn't have much, backing with, that led to, the physical abuse and little bits of mental abuse, but mostly physical. But throughout that whole period, now I'm not going to paint my mom as this demon, because she really wasn't. She instilled a lot of different things within me that really helped get me to where I am today. And a lot of those things were spiritually toned, which is a blessing. Different way to look at the world, understanding a lot of psychology from somebody that really didn't get to do much outside of high school. And so that kind of led me into wanting to learn psychology, that background of mental illness within the family, and, seeing how the mind actually develops and works, and then figuring out, the difference between the brain, the mind, now consciousness, which is interplay. But all of those things opened me up to different things, but I just was living life in kind of a cloud, and just, as it comes, not really directing life in any specific direction. And then all of a sudden my health failed. And so did my wife's. We had mold in our bedroom, which we didn't quite realize. And we had CPAPs because our health was not 100% at that moment. And so it was blowing all of the mold in.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so some major issues with that. We had Lyme disease due to chronic mold exposure. And so that was a huge crash. That was like, if you want to consider it life ending in essence, because the life that we had been building and the life that we had been living was done.
Yeah.
And but it was it was that door opening that kind of led me into the more holistic route of things, because we realized that at that moment, for us anyways, okay, the current medical system had no answers. We had been dealing with certain things for like 12 years, leading up to the ultimate crash. And then we finally had to look elsewhere because it just, nothing was helping. So we actually found an integrative physician, and going to his office, we actually met our first Reiki master teacher. And so that whole thing really opened up a lot of different avenues and doors for us. So not only did we become Reiki masters through the teacher, granted, Julie's my spouse, and also my partner in Buelow Wellness.
Yep.
So I'm actually her master teacher. And then we went on and actually became Holy Fire 3 Karuna master teachers as well. And that was actually quite an interesting story in and of itself. That all occurred while we were shutting down for the pandemic out in Sedona. So, yeah, so in March of 2020, we decided, yes, we are still going to go to our attunements out in Sedona. And yeah, throughout the entire week, incrementally, everything was shutting down. And then finally, we got to do our training and our attunements in at Peace Place Gives. So that was a very, very interesting and intriguing week.
So you're in Sedona, doing this high level mastery, Reiki attunement experience. The world is going like this and panicking, but you're trying to be in Sedona in this bubble of, I don't want to be like love and light, but you know what I mean. You're in the zone of this attunement, which is very high vibrational.
Yes.
So you're probably in the day doing this, but then how did you deal with, you're showing me like the polarity of what you were doing, but then what was happening to the world. How did you handle that?
Yeah, that's
a story.
While we were there, it was really kind of tricky because leading up to it, like we stayed in Flagstaff, right?
Okay.
So that's about a half hour, 45 minutes north of Sedona.
I think so.
But every single day I drove down the scenic drive to Sedona, one of the most awe-inspiring drives. Feel absolutely insignificant and small when you're driving down this scenic path, because it just, you start going down the road and then you hit this little portion where there is no road in front of you and it's just the scene. And oh my God, it's just awe-inspiring and gorgeous. So that was my first real experience with Sedona, was just that drive. And I was just awe-inspired, and it was gorgeous and it was beautiful. And then we get down to Sedona, and yeah, there's some people there, but then the next day there's incrementally less people, and then less people. Everything is starting to shut down and close down. And before that, we really didn't watch the news or TV a whole lot. So then, of course, back in our room, we were able to watch TV and hear all of the scare and all of the things that were going on and all the closures. So yeah, there was absolutely some fear and negative emotions going on throughout the week. But the goal was to be there, to be attuned, to connect with the energy. And that's exactly what we did. And so by the time that we got into class on Friday, then there it was 5 people and an instructor. And it was all about the energy and all about the teaching and all about the learning to help others, because that was what we were there for. And there was absolute reason for us to be there, to connect with the energy moving forward, because that is absolutely the direction that we had to take, and direction to help others.
Are they making you like mask up and stay 6 feet? I mean, had all of those things happened yet, or were you guys still in real time trying to figure that out?
Oh no, it was kind of real time. Like I did actually connect with. We had a travel agent, and I think we did that specifically because the pandemic was going on
Right.
or starting. And she said, "No, you're fine. You're going to be able to get out of there, and your flights are still going to be going. So don't worry, and everything will be okay." I'm like, "Okay, good." And that was my main concern, was how the heck are we going to get home from Sedona, because we live in central Wisconsin.
Right.
So that was more of my concern. Everything else really wasn't that big of a concern. Everything shutting down. Hey, we were able to explore more freely because there were less people.
Right.
So we just made the best of whatever situation there was.
Well, and in the middle of I don't want to say chaos, but there's opportunity
There truly is.
and you get
Yeah.
creative.
Yeah. And so also when we were out there, like earlier on, we carried CBD products within Buelow Wellness, and that was one of the first products that we found in Sedona. So we went and set up something with some people out there, and carried their products for a while. And then, yeah, went to Peace Park, which was amazing and very just, yeah, the energy there is great. So if you ever get out to Sedona, check it out. Yeah, it was just a fabulous time in Sedona.
I bet.
If there weren't some pandemic going on, I think that it would have maybe even been lesser. I don't know, but
Did you
it
get
was.
to fly home or did you have to drive?
So we flew home, and so we flew out of Sedona, went into Chicago, and there were 13 people on the flight. And when we touched down and started going through O'Hare Airport, there was nobody. It was really apocalyptical because we were, walking through the airport, and all you have on is the TVs. There's nobody waiting for flights. There is nobody really walking through there. And that was the experience. And then we had 13 people on the flight from Chicago up to Appleton.
Huh.
Yeah, it was really, really kind of freaky. So the worst part about the entire thing was actually coming home. And then, because both Julie and I are essential workers, so, essential workers. But so I had to go to work, and then she went into town to get groceries because we had just come back from a week trip.
Right.
Our energy senses were so heightened after the attunements. Wow, all of the fear, all of the things that people were experiencing and feeling, as soon as we started getting closer to a bigger city, it was all coming in. It was, yeah, really, yeah, it was a trial, just trying to go through that. And yeah, it was interesting to say
Oh,
the
I bet
least.
it was. I mean,
But
but talk
you
about a
know,
master
right
class of
away, right? But right away, you're already feeling that shift and that switch from what you used to know to something new, something different. And that's it with all of it. Like, we've had level 1 students that reach out within a week, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe the sensations that I'm feeling. I can't really be around people right now." And so help them out with that. But yeah, that's just level 1. Now we're talking going well beyond the level 1 experience. But at the same time, it is teaching us, how to attune to our new energies and our new path and our new gifts and abilities. So it really it was a trying time, but it was a very, very good time. But that was one of the first times too that I got a direct connection. And I had asked for an answer to a question about the pandemic and our safety. And so when we got home, I think we were actually having a glass of wine one night, and all of a sudden, this huge blissful energy came in, and I could do nothing except for drop to my knees and just accept whatever was coming through. And the information was that we would be safe, that there would be a lot of people that would be getting sick, and there would be a lot of death. and but we would be safe and we would make it through.
Mm-hmm.
But it was, yeah, really, really a wild and interesting time. Yeah, that was really when we started looking more at creating what Bila Wellness was.
Yeah.
And so Julie is was before we actually had our health concern. She was working in a level 2 trauma center ICU. So she is a registered nurse with a lot of great background and a lot of great information because she's a sponge and she just keeps it. So she helps, other people that are within the medical system yet, understand their medications, how they affect the body, what they affect within the body, that sort of thing. And then she also utilizes that information now because she's a functional medicine nutrition counselor. So helping people not with medications, but with natural things. So what you eat and how that affects you and how that can affect your future. So that's one of the things that Bila Wellness brings to the table, as well as, of course, Reiki, which I'm sure that most people that are listening to this actually know and understand what Reiki is. And then I started bringing sound equipment into it. So not only do we use binaural beats within our Reiki sessions, which for some that don't know binaural beats, ultimately you've got a frequency going in one ear and another frequency going in the other ear, and then they cancel out and leave a frequency, and that frequency is within a range of an alpha wave. And so that alpha wave helps you to become in more of a meditative state and more of a healing, accepting state. So with the Reiki energy then tied with the binaural beats, you actually are more open to receiving the energy and more open to receiving the healing that's coming through from the energy. So then I also work with tuning forks and bowls. So within the frequency framework there. And then some of the more recent things that I started working with are QHHT and BQH. And those are some, for me, which it really tops off what I understand about psychology and helps within that framework. And when I bring that in, as well as the spiritual healing, it is just immensely powerful, just super powerful to be able to help people in a humongously different capacity. They can go back into past lives. They can work within this lifetime and correct or change things within it. Heal from traumas within whatever framework you're talking about. You can have people that heal physically right there, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. All of these things within one session can be opened up and healed. And that truly, though, depends upon the individual on how far they want to go with it and whether they want to embrace that healing. And most of the time, I've got to say, when people come to me for those sessions, they want that. They are ready for it. And they're being guided and pushed into that direction because, well, they haven't found any relief any other place, but they are ready for that biggest shift.
Right. And that's so powerful. I mean, we're in such a, of course my eyes start watering when you're talking about a shift. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
People try everything, and then
Yeah.
it's interesting. I mean, like right now, the world is disrupted is probably a really good way of putting it. And I've turned off the media, even though I am media, and really started to get into Dolores Cannon books, like audiobooks.
Right.
And the one that I just finished is the one In Between Lives. Fascinating, like fascinating. And I've, in the last 2 weeks, my cat died and my car got hit by a bus. I was not in it; it was parked. And then we had to put our dog down. And it was so interesting that I was binge listening to Dolores Cannon, and then I had these things happen, and I'm like, okay, like,
Yeah.
right? It's like my dog. We put him down at home, and it was really interesting. And my telepathy skills have gone off the charts lately. And I'm watching my dog. The vet's here to put him down, and he looked at her. He hadn't been walking around or doing anything in days. And he looked at her. He's like, "Nope, I know who you are, and I know what you're gonna do to me, and I'm not ready." And
Yep.
we were getting him ready in a spot in our house, and he went and got on his favorite pillow in my office and was like, "If you're gonna do this, we're doing it my way, and we're doing it right here." I'm like, "Okay, man, that's
Yeah.
great." And I got to watch him leave his body, and
Yeah.
it was so incredibly cool. And
Um,
I'm looking at the vet doing everything, and we're like trying to get around him because he was very stubborn and he wanted to be in his spot.
yep.
And I told her afterwards that I'm like, "This is so fascinating to see this happen as a psychic medium." She looks at me, she's just like, "What?" And I'm like, "I wasn't going to tell you that beforehand." But to watch him go from this old, he was 15, his body was falling apart, right?
Yeah.
And just watching his soul just, and then all the souls that were there ready for him. I mean, it was so incredibly cool. And my uncle died this morning. So it's been a fun one. And
It has
I
been.
was checking in with him last night, and I saw his angel wings. I'm a pitcher girl, so I see the angel wings. I'm like, okay, I get different signs if someone wants me to, like, on where they're gonna be. And it's funny. I see people, or I see the souls dressed up like in the first class of the Titanic, right? And they're mingling around, and then there's a red carpet, and the red carpet rolls out. And then if it's going to happen within 24 hours, they're mingling on the red carpet, and then they face me. And then I'm like, "Oh, okay. These are my signs. This is what's happening." And I saw that for my uncle, and then I saw the first time seeing this, I saw the angel wings. So what I was seeing, has he transitioned yet or not? I remote viewed in it, and I saw the angel wings. My mom texts me, no lie, 10 minutes later, and is like, "He's passed."
Wow.
And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then we just started working on him energetically, and I'm like, "You're gonna go to the light," and da 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 da. And it's fascinating when we open ourselves up to all the possibilities and all the things that are going on. Even touching onto our UFO conversation pre this and during this. It's just, it's opening up. It's opening up and being curious. I'm gonna wrap it around to the curiosity
It's
and
pretty wild.
allowing ourselves.
And that's one of the biggest things too within like one of those quantum healing sessions is as the facilitator is just being curious, being open to any possibility. Um, other timelines, other dimensions, the spirit realm, other beings,
All of the above.
all of the above, other intelligences. I had somebody that actually went into a past life as a dragon. Um,
As a
so
drag?
as a dragon, it was
The dragon.
fabulous,
Okay, I think as a drag, I was like, I haven't heard of what a drag is.
right?
Okay, as a dragon. Oh, how is that?
It's amazing. It was really, really amazing, and it was her as a dragon and connecting with a young girl as a human, and how she was the key to connect the dragons and the humans so that they could actually consciously live together. It was pretty wild. It almost sounded like a movie, and maybe I got to talk to her about that. But yeah, it was fabulous. It was really wild. There's other scenarios and other things that have come through. I had somebody that wanted to know what the birthmark on her cheek was, and she stepped in the way of somebody taking her sister to do nasty things with her as she was drunk, and the guy pulled out a gun and shot her in the face.
Right.
And that's where the birthmark came from. Also, somebody that was on a women's retreat in Greece and saw this woman's body in a temple, because there was a location where they went to visit and there were two temples there. And as she pulled up, she started getting anxious and angry and didn't understand what this feeling was about. She got up and she saw that this woman was in one of the temples dead. She wanted to connect and see what that was about. That was the first past life that she went into, and it was her in that past life. and she had been killed by a bunch of men that were trying to bring in like systemized medicine into the area, and she was the holistic healer for the community, and they needed her on board or needed her out of the way, and they took her out of the way.
Yeah.
And that connected with her life now because she is a holistic healer and she's bringing something to the area that isn't looked too kindly about, but it is an herbal style remedy that she's putting out there. And she needed to connect with this person so that she could become empowered by the empowerment that this woman was creating, and the beliefs and the strength that she had to uphold her beliefs. Just amazing.
I love it. Like that's
Yeah.
just so exciting.
And then a lot of people too that go off into the spirit side, and they can connect with past loved ones, and they can connect with a number of people have connected with pets on the other side, so that they can get closure, so that they can, get some of the potential guilt that they're feeling as humans, about that animal's passing, or maybe the time that they shared together that wasn't so blissful. And they can get closure through that. So it's fabulous. It's really, really amazing, the work. I love being a part of it. And for people go ahead. Oh, for people to come through and actually allow, us to do this for them and to open these doors and to be the facilitator. I've told people so many times too in public speaking that if somebody says they're a healer, then maybe you want to walk away, because we're just guides. We're here to facilitate things. We're channels for healing energies, or we're here to open up doors that maybe you couldn't open by yourself, but you have to walk through. It's all you.
I've heard it described as being like a hollow bone. I'm like, okay.
Okay.
I'm like, okay. The dog that we recently put down, I realized how much of a little shaman he was, and how he held such beautiful energy for my house and my kids and me and our plants, like everything. And I think I acknowledged the last 12 hours he was alive. And then when he left, I was just like, man, you held it together. Like he really, he totally knew his space. He knew what he had to do. He did it so impeccably. He created, like, we brought in so he was a beautiful soul. I brought in 3 years ago a fully intact 95-pound male English bulldog that was with us for 2 years, and within 24 hours those two were like chums, like they'd been together forever. And then we rescued a little pit bull about 6 months ago from the streets, like from the pound, the whole thing. And he just welcomed her. I mean, of course they had their little moments, right? But
sure.
Realizing how he just held this hum and this space, like this wise man. So I want to thank Mr. Buelow for all of that. And we miss him. We miss his calmness and the frequency. And we realize how special of a soul he was. He wasn't just a dog. He held space for us. And it was honor that he was a part of our family. And I know he's doing other stuff on the other side.
Yeah. Most dogs are really healers, and really energetic absorbers. So pull some of that negative energy that maybe is surrounding you or connecting with you or the family, and they take it on and then transmute it. But a lot of times there tends to be some more dense energies that they just can't transmute, and that's what leads to their illness or diseases. But yeah, we had one. We had a yellow lab that was, man, he turned out to be 110 pounds. He was great. He was the runt of the litter.
Love it.
Yeah. And then when he was 5, we figured, oh, well, yeah, we'll get him a companion also, because that might make it easier on us. And that wasn't easier on us. We got a lab pit mix. I always called her a label. And she came from a pound, from a rescue, and she was hell on wheels until Darwin passed. And then as soon the same day that Darwin passed, we had somebody come, a vet come, Creature Cares, and put him down at our house, like you did. And as soon as he passed, there must have been some transfer from him to her, because from that moment on, she was a different dog completely.
Oh.
Completely. And I think that she felt his release and his moving on. And I don't know what exactly he imparted within her, but boy, oh boy, she was down and out for about a week
Oh.
after him leaving. And I don't think that she really realized how important he was. And that just shifted and changed everything for her. It was wild. She went from this totally destructive, very, very energetic and energized little thing to now, I don't know if she just could be like, okay, now I need to be the strong one, and I need to, put forth the energy and love into the family. So
Yeah.
it was a pretty,
She stepped up to her. It was her responsibility.
yeah.
Like she's like, is what I get. I just well,
Well, and
and
I know pits are like a single dog household. They love being the only dog within the household, because then they're the ones that give the love. They're the ones that, are protectors for the family, and at least everything that we've experienced through pits. But yeah.
well, I'm on my first rodeo with a pit, so thank you for that.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it's
They're lovers, man. Oh, they're lovers. Love them. They love them to death. I mean, they just put forth so much energy and love. It's great. We also watch dogs on Rover,
okay.
so we get to experience just tons of different breeds and tons of different animals. So we just, oh, it's a huge experience that we never would have had if we had not, ventured out and tried it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are so many different dog breeds that we never would have brought into the house if, we hadn't experienced this. This is just amazing. So yeah, and pits, just all of them that we take care of, just amazing and loving, and love to cuddle, love to just, be babied.
Mazzy was like the volunteer favorite at the so I'm running errands. I'm in kind of a weird part of town in Minneapolis, and it was a police station. I see adoption day, and I'm like, oh, I'll go do. Now I just put my English bulldog down like a month prior, so I'm like, I'll just go get some. I'll just do some energy work on the dogs, and I'll dip right. And then I'm curious. So I'm like greeted by a police officer, and I'm just like, oh, where am I? Like, okay, and I was like, oh, I'll just do some energy. And I was very honest with the volunteers. I was like, could I just do some energy work on the dogs? And one kind of looked at me like, do you understand where you are, miss? And then others were like, oh yeah, come on in. This is great. So I was like talking with them. And I went in to see like it was a Great Dane. It was a black Great Dane. I was like, oh, I'll start with the black dogs, because I guess the black dogs are the ones that are rescued. Their numbers of rescue aren't as high as other dogs. And this dog walked in and jumped on the table, and I was like, okay, maybe not. Like, okay. And I just did a little energy work, and then I sent him back. And then I see this little gray pit bull being pulled into an office with a mother and a daughter, and I knew they weren't going to adopt her. And I was like, and then they like went in, and then the volunteers, and it was like these volunteers, and it's Minneapolis Animal Control or Care Control, MACC. They know that the time is limited. Like the minute they're in there, the hourglass is flipped, and there's an end date. And these volunteers were just like, oh, I hope this is the one for Darlin. I hope this is the one for Darlin. And they were all, and I was just like, why are you guys so passionate? They're like, she is the best dog. And they started to tell me that she was brought in at 19 pounds, skin and bones, found in an abandoned building. and they had to get her up to weight. So they've been giving her peanut butter to get her up to weight so they could spay her. And she'd been sick, and there was all of this. And I was like, I'll do some energy work on her because she'll be coming out in about 5 minutes because they're not going to take her. And they looked at me and I was just like, so I grab her and I just am like, and her tail, she's moving energy. I'm like, she's in a pound and she's moving energy. So then we start talking telepathically, and she was like, "Get me out of here." She's like, just get me out of here." So I'm not allowed to bring animals home anymore. And he's like, "Kelly, why do I see a great pit bull in my future?" And I was like, "'Cause I'm sitting with one right now." And we're clear across town, and I'll make the story as tight as I can. But I go back and get my husband. He sees her within 2 minutes, and he's like, "Okay, where do we sign the paper?" I mean, it was just, and she was really sad, and they just put her on antidepressant medicine and all of this stuff. And my daughter's there, so we grab her, and she just gets in the car, and she curls up in a little ball, and she's like, "Yay!" And then we're driving home, and like, okay, how are we going to introduce her to Blue, our dog that we just passed? And one of the volunteers ahead of time said, take Baloo on a walk and then just come up next to him and let them meet in a neutral area on the street, and it'll go much better. And I'm like, okay. So we get home, I grab my dog, and then we grab Mazzy, and I was on one side of the block, my husband was on the other, and they just kind of met and sniffed, and then we just walked home.
That's
and
great.
I mean, that was the introduction. It was so lovely, going back to how great my dog was.
So
yeah, that's Mazzy. That's Mazzy the Spazzy, and we let our 14-year-old daughter name her Mazzy Star, and we call her Twinkle Twinkle, and she is just the way you described it. I'm a bulldog girl, and she just loves my husband, and my husband loves her, and my daughter loves her, and she cuddles at night. I mean, it's just this whole whole thing. Oh my gosh.
We thought that when we got Riley was our label name, and when we got her, we took our dog, we took Darwin to meet her, and before we did anything, we had to make sure that they got together. And as soon as they met, Riley laid down and went right on her back and showed her stomach off, right? And just, oh, here you go. I'm submissive. So we adopted her. We got her home. Realized that she had a sinus infection. Yeah. So she was super docile. Yeah, because she was sick.
Yeah.
As soon as that cleared up, oh my, that's when the terror started coming out. Yeah. So yeah, just don't get me wrong. I'm grateful that we had her, because she needed a home. And once Darwin passed, she was very lovable, and even in the meantime, I mean, but she was a teacher, absolutely a teacher. So
they all are. Oh my gosh.
It was good having that, and great experience. It's Julie and I didn't have children, so we had our animals, and it was it was good to have them as teachers for us. So it's good.
So powerful. Well, for everybody that doesn't think that we're not animal lovers, we just spent 15 minutes talking about our dogs. So you just feel the love and the energy. Before we wrap up, we need to talk about the 1111 collective connection. And I'm sorry if anyone, if you're not into animals, I'm sorry about the last 10 minutes. And if you are into animals, you are in love with how much we love our little four-legged friends.
Right.
Okay. What inspired about the 1111?
All right. So, like we were talking before, Karuna Master Training in March of 2020, right? So that kind of solidified Bila Wellness, and we were going to bring what we had and start helping people. And so September of 2020 is when we actually started getting out into the public and started going to metaphysical fairs, right? Just a small story from that first one, right?
Of course.
The very first event that we went to, we did Reiki a number of times on people, but our very first person on the table, we were only doing mini sessions, so like 10-minute sessions. She convulsed the entire time that she was there.
Oh
on the table.
no.
And then she cried for about another half hour after the fact. And I'm not diminishing what she experienced by any means, but I was crapping myself thinking,
Oh, I'm
oh
sure you
my God,
were. Like, you're
is
like,
this what it's going to be like on every person that I do Reiki at these events for?
we're gonna pack up our chair and we
Oh
gotta
my
go.
God. Yeah, right. So, anyways, that was my first experience giving Reiki in public, yeah, it was pretty intense. So, anyways, fast forward through 2020, 2021, 2022, 23, 24, and I'm kind of seeing what's going on, and I'm telling people the same things, and we're talking about the same things, and they're coming up and they're asking the same things. And so it really kind of starts coming to me, and I'm being guided and being pushed to like, hey, Frank, everything that you're talking about, you should really collect and you should put into something so that people can get this information, and that so you're then facilitating the healing, but you're not always having to repeat it.
Right.
Because seriously, I mean, you go to events, and I'm sure that you talk a lot the same to people as well, and answer the same questions. And not that I don't think that the people need to hear the answers, or that they're not uh, that it's not good to give them my time. That's not what I'm trying to say. But what I'm trying to say is that I would rather put these things into videos and have people watch through them and go through this guided a portion from point A to point Z, and gain the most that they possibly can, instead of the limited amount of time that I can give them at these events. Because I can only give so much time to everybody, even though that we're there from like 10 to 5. I can only give each person so much time. So that's ultimately what started off with the 1111, is putting everything into kind of a format of a coaching program, but have it be a self-paced, recorded program, right? So I started looking at different places to put this and put it out into the public for like electronic formats. And I just wasn't finding what I wanted, so that I could actually give people everything that I wanted to put into it.
Right.
So I started developing my own app for it. And that's ultimately what started kind of the whole process, was the coaching program, putting it into an app. And then I was like, well, goodness, I'm putting all this out there, but I don't have the time to give every single person that could potentially go through this my support. Not everyone. And also, this thing is like 9 months worth of coaching, and all the people are going to see is my face. And I have a perspective, I have a point of view, but we all have journeys, and we all have these paths that we're living. And yeah, maybe we get to the same place or we don't, but we all have different perspectives, and we have something that we can offer to people based on those experiences, based on our teachings, the things that we read, the things that we learn, the experiences that we have, that we overcome. Those are the biggest things that I feel are super, super important. So I decided in, I think it was September of last year, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm really quite a ways with the coaching program. I want to bring in different practitioners so that they can talk about the things that they know about in the framework of the coaching program, so that people can gain more from this. And so that's what I did. I started reaching out to a lot of the practitioners that I knew, that I connected with in an energetic format.
That you trusted and that you wanted to hear their perspective. Like, I think that's really key.
Yeah, absolutely. I trusted these people, and I really like their perspective on things. And ultimately, I love their energy, because that's really where we connected the most and connected first, is based on energy. So there's people like, which everybody from the Edge knows, Angela. So Angela was one of the first practitioners that I reached out to. because we connected through the different travels of the metaphysical fairs, and she was one of the first practitioners that I really was attracted to and just formed a friendship with. So between her and like Dave Anderson from Love Lingo and Matt Schmidt, those three, I believe, were the first ones that I actually reached out to. And I had reached out to Matt previously about another idea that I had, and he was so super busy. Which anybody that knows Matt, yeah, he's booked up quite a bit. So him saying yes and that he'd be happy to come into the 1111 team, that for me was just amazing and great. And everybody has their own things that they're adding to this, which is just fabulous. And it really creates more depth of knowledge and understanding of the material that people can gain from this. So ultimately, with every single practitioner, and I think that right now I'm up to like 22 practitioners. Kelly, of course, is also coming in, and she's going to be involved within the platform later in the platform. So that when you're going through this and you're starting to open up to different things, then we'll have support for you with how to do things. Once you kind of get over the healing aspects of things, and when you start settling into the different modalities, because truly this is something to open you up to spiritual consciousness and to shift your life from where you are into something completely different. And to not have guidance after the fact is that's not very kind. So to have that support and guidance afterwards is very, very important.
I'll be honest, like at the shows going after your first session, I have been having a real struggle personally. This is just me personally. Like, okay, so I'm about to go do the Lake Harriet Spiritual Center on Saturday, and I do 14 readings in a day, and I have 23 minutes with each person. It's good for me it's first off, it's a donation. What is it? It's a fundraiser for the community,
nice.
which is really lovely. But then I normally do long form sessions. I'm like an hour and a half, and like let's get comfy and let's just really go. And I feel that, again, this is just me, at fairs and shows, just 20 minutes with someone and because I dive deep, like like I'm not one of those, like if you want to know about love and relationships, there's so many other readers or so many other psychics that you can go to, and they will take very, very good care of you. I'm the one that's like, let's talk to you about what happened when you were 3. Let's go for it, because it's impacting this and this and this and this and this and this. And you want to know why you're not getting love? Okay, let's talk about this. So, right. And I just feel that at these shows, only being able to do 20 minutes with someone, I feel like I go in there and I'm doing the paddles, and then I'm like, okay, you're off your way. Good luck.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Like, right.
Sorry, that was your time.
Right? Yeah. That's my own push-pull. So I love where I'm going in a long rambling way is that I love that you're creating this safe container, and we can blow it up. And then as we put the pieces back together in this beautiful, loving way with your trust, not only you, but the trusted 22, which is going to be continuing to grow around them, and that safe container to be vulnerable and to be curious and to really, I mean, you're really creating a safe space. And I'm realizing this now, 25 years into my own, whatever you want to call it, journey, adventure, whatever, where I would go to the fairs and go, let's talk about this in 10 minutes. And I'm realizing that what you're creating is so special and is so needed. And it's a beautiful way of doing it.
Yeah. And ultimately what started off as a coaching program, has really become something that's much, much greater. And so when we were having our health crisis and spiritual awakening, ultimately, I didn't have the community. I didn't know where to turn. I didn't know what to do. I didn't, all of this was foreign. And, a door was opening for me. And I truly didn't know if I wanted to walk through it, because I had been running from this sort of experience my entire life. And I knew that there was something more, that there was a light, and that I kind of was running about trying to stay out of it.
Yeah.
And I can't anymore. So sorry.
Never, ever, ever apologize.
Right?
It is fantastic. It is beautiful. And I'm gonna promote that all over social media. No, I'm just kidding.
So
because but it just shows how much, how not only how you want to create a safe space for others, but how much this is impacting you. I mean, what we do as ambassadors of community, this is a 24-hour a day passion. It's not a job. It is a I don't want to say it's a lifestyle. I'm not coming up with the earth word for it, because it's our duty. It's our, I mean,
it becomes a passion. It becomes a drive. It becomes, something completely different. And it's not really something that is suited for an individual. This is suited for, a group, a community, the whole of the human race. This is, we're trying to raise consciousness. I don't know. Have you heard the story of Monkey Island before?
I might have, but go for it.
So ultimately, there's this island, right? And there's these monkeys that are on the island. And one of the monkeys, I mean, they all do the same thing, right? And then one day, they find this. One of the monkeys finds a sweet potato, and then they wash it off in water. And that's never been done before. And they taste it, and wow, it tastes so much better without the dirt on it. Another one sees it, tries it. Oh my gosh, this is so much better. The whole island of monkeys starts to wash their sweet potatoes, because this actually, to them, is a much better way of eating their sweet potatoes than before, than just finding them and picking them off and eating them. There's another island that's close by, and they've lived their life the entire same way, where they just pick it up and they eat it, dirt on it and everything else. All of a sudden, because this island is doing it and they're close by, one of those picks up a sweet potato and washes it off. What do you know? Before long, the whole island does. But this is what we're trying to do with spirituality and raising the collective consciousness here on Earth. As soon as we finally reach a level of consciousness within individuals, there's a shift. And there's a shift in consciousness across the entire planet. And that's what we're focusing on. And that's what we're trying to do. And that's what I'm trying to help with, as far as with this platform and with the practitioners that are coming on board. And this started off, like I said, as just a coaching program, and it's become a platform, a community. It is also then, it's got full chat feature within it, so that you can be connected, so that you can talk within it. It has a booking platform within it. It has a new marketplace within it. Gosh, what else does it have? Live stream section within it, so that there will be live stream parts from all of the different all the different practitioners and experts within it. It's got, gosh, there's 13 different modules. There's over 60 different folders with content within them. So, and almost every area has a practitioner video within it to support whatever that is. And we just have great conversations. I love recording these conversations with high vibrational people, because really, when we sit down and we have these interviews, and I'm sure Kelly can say the same thing about being curious, we connect at a totally different level than, say, you do with the generalized public. We connect consciously, and we then create something that is just amazing. and informative and knowledgeable. And hopefully people connect with that aspect of the videos as well. So if anybody is interested too, there's an 1111 Collective Connection Facebook group, and that's where right now we are meeting, so that you can watch clips of the videos that are going to be on the platform, as well as different memes. And of course, it's a place to connect and create community and build community. So we're trying to keep it a safe space for everybody that wants to come in and actually add parts to it, as far as, you know, what's your journey been like, and what are you facing right now, what are you struggling with, and, you know, put it out there. And there's a lot of practitioners that are on it that are there to help already. So once we actually get into the platform, all of these practitioners are there to give you support. Like I said, back in, I think it was 2024, I don't know, 2024, 2023.
It's all been a blur. Don't worry about it.
Well, we were looking at a space that was over, I think it was like 12,000 square foot. It was huge. It was a property that never really got finished. And we were looking at moving in there and bringing together a whole group of holistic style practitioners together within that space. And just within couple months ago, I think it was, Julie kind of said, well, hey, do you realize this is actually what you're creating here? It wasn't supposed to be at a location. It was supposed to be this. And so absolutely, this has been over a year in the, it's just,
right? That's what you're showing me. It's just doing that, and it's expanding, and it's international, and it's galactic, and it's like all are welcome.
Every part of this has just become, you know, okay, well, I'm struggling to get a couple of practitioners for different areas. All right, so I will explore different areas within the platform so that I can build it up. Okay, no problem. And then I've been waiting, and this person decides, oh, well, okay, it might not be for me because things keep on coming up and my schedule just doesn't afford for it. Okay, great. So I'll develop something new and then put that in there. So what I thought was going to be the app to begin with, and then I was going to work in the background, has kind of went to the wayside. And now I'm putting forth actually almost the entire app that I was looking to put out for people. So the other day I was kind of looking at it, and it almost, to me, feels like a metaphysical fair that is always done, you know, in the same space. So you can come to it anytime you want. You can, you know, buy your crystals. You can buy books, spiritual, metaphysical books that are in there. You know, you can, whatever it is. There's also a workshop area for the different practitioners that are on the platform to put forth their own stuff. So that way you're not just within the coaching framework. You can also get different areas. Like, I mean, Max Knopf, fabulous. Oh my gosh, medical intuitive, amazing practitioner. So he's already got workshops that he's wanting to put in there. Yenchi, she's from Las Vegas, amazing biogeometry practitioner. So we have a lot of people with a lot of different modalities, with a lot of knowledge and a lot of areas of spiritual development that are a part of the platform. And
well, and as you're doing this and you're growing, you can be like, oh, we don't have any animal communicators. And then you go whoop, 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 and all of a sudden there's an APB out, and you're going to have 3 different animal communicators. And the other thing as you grow is how Angela does her readings or remote viewing is different than I do, and then different than you do. So you can really have that. There's no right, wrong, left, right, black or white. It's okay, who do you resonate with, and be curious with them. And now what you're showing me is like you're building like this all-star team. Like, and I'm not saying it has to be a team, it's a collective, but it's like you're building this or creating this space for people to really come in and learn a bunch of different, like how you might describe Reiki and energy healing is different than this person is, and this person is, and this, and whatever resonates with you and your learning style and your frequency and what you're comfortable with. Some people might be comfortable with this person and not this person, even though they're the same certifications and the same, but it's an energy thing. And you're creating that with your marketplace and your practitioner access and the workshops, and then people can get to know them. And that's
Right.
one thing that I love to do long form, is for you to really get to know someone before you make that decision to work with them.
Absolutely, and I think, we were kind of touching it a little bit with the metaphysical fairs, where we only have so much time to connect with people there. So they're coming in quick, and we connect, and then we kind of go about our whatever that is, and then they leave. And hopefully we can connect further, but a lot of times we don't. And so this is one of those areas that then you can kind of come into and you can connect on a regular basis. You can talk with that person a little bit further to actually see where they're coming from and, get to know them further. So you can feel more comfortable with the healings that you're receiving or the information that's coming to you from them, instead of just, seeing them at a fair. So, yeah.
I get it.
I love it.
I get it.
I do. I love it. I love what's being created. I love sitting down and actually having these recordings. I know you probably feel the same way about your show, actually connecting with the practitioners. Oh, it's fabulous. I'm on high for I don't know how many days afterwards, just because.
I learned so much, and
Yeah.
what's interesting, like I went through media training and to be able to talk with people. I love when someone that might be a little bit more reserved, but they're a thought leader, and then it's just creating this space for them, and then they just blossom, and then they don't give the mic back to me because they're
Yeah.
just so talkative and having such a good time, and they feel so safe, and that's an honor for me. So I love it. I love what you're doing. I love, 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 love. What's an invitation for everybody? Because I know you're like, there's the Facebook group. How else can they connect with you? I had this on the bottom of the screen beforehand. Is this the best website for people to check you out now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay.
That is the best spot to check us out right now. That also has a section for the 1111 collective connection. So it actually goes through all the different modules and kind of what to expect within them. But yeah, everything is on there as far as what we do for people, the different modalities that we go through and kind of help with. The main thing with that too is it doesn't come down to a modality. What it kind of comes down to is where you're at the moment and how we can help you transition or shift into whatever it is you're looking for.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
is ultimately what we help people with. So, and I know Julie gets kind of irritated with it all the time. So weight loss is a byproduct of what we do. So weight loss is not something to come and look to a practitioner for. Weight loss is a byproduct of actually getting healthy. So that's one thing that I want to just
point
out. But
I love that.
But yeah, there are so many different areas that we can help in. There are so many things that we can shift in. I've had people that have had broken spines. I've had people that had pain from a conjoined twin that she absorbed during birth, which was kind of a wild thing, but that's gone. Fallen.
Okay, wait. I was about to wrap up, but you can't drop that and then tell me. Wait. Okay, so what? Okay, yeah. So how did you work with that? Because just talk to me.
So that was through quantum healing, and it didn't come up in the interview process that she was going to be a twin. And through the actual session, found out that she was going to be a twin, and she had side pain most of her life. And through the session, we found out that she had absorbed her twin And that's what the pain was coming from. And so when we were able to actually release that connection, then there was no more pain. And actually, that person called me 6 months after the session, and she was like, after the first couple of weeks, I was a little bit irritated because I didn't have immediate results.
Right.
However, I'm calling you now 6 months later because everything that I came to you to have resolved, whether it was physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual, has all been fulfilled. Everything.
Amazing.
So it was fabulous. It was really just ridiculously amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
What did you do with it? What did you do with the twin? Did you actually connect with that spirit? And
yes. He
yeah.
did connect with it, and he was living vicariously through her, but obviously understood that he could move on. And so he just needed to kind of have that nudge and allowance to move on. So that's really ultimately what happened. And yeah. And then the pain was instantly gone. Instant. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Which is fabulous. I mean, that's one of the things that I don't think people understand and realize. The communication that they're receiving through their body is not just age, it's not just happenstance, it's not just because of this or that, And when you start looking at life as an overall picture of a destination, then everything within it is a part of it, right? So there is no random act. There is nothing that is just because it is random. It all has purpose. It all means something. And to look at those things, those moments, and that's one of the things that really my mom actually was helpful in, but then obviously going through and listening or reading about things through Dolores, everything has a silver lining. Everything has a lesson. Everything has a positive aspect to it. It's just that most of the time we're so focused on the moments that are creating those negative traumas that we don't see those things. We don't want to focus on the positive aspects of negative events. But everything does. Everything has a positive to it. And so the more that we focus on the positive or the lesson of it, then the easier it is going to be on our physical body, and the easier it's going to be on our future self. Because we do have choices. Yes, there is a path, but we do make the choices on our way towards getting to that end.
What's your current relationship with your mom?
She passed. However, yeah, right. So
sorry, I wanted to back into that. I was because she's right behind you. So that's why I was just like, and
you're good.
She's, yeah.
Not at all. You're good. So we had a split for quite a number of years. And then we came back together again. And I was there for her on her way to transition. So for, I think it was about 4 years or 5 years before she passed, then we picked up and had a relationship again. And then she passed away, what is it, just over 2 years ago now. So, yep. But in the beginning, like I said, my childhood, she was abusive in spurts. It really, later on in life, I've made a lot of, I've got a greater sense of understanding of it. And actually part of the work that I do is helped out because of how I got that resolved.
Right.
So yeah, and understanding more about perceptions and putting yourself in other people's shoes. A lot of that stuff came from the turmoil between me and my mom. And even though we had a kind of a up and down sort of childhood for me, she taught me a lot of great things. And we did have a really good relationship for a period of time. and things kind of shifted. So
I don't think she had the tools, and I also think that
yeah,
you didn't get to see her as her best self. Without doing like a full on reading, that's what she's really telling me is
yeah,
that your dad was gone at, but you were 2. So imagine you being 2. I mean, a 2-year, even a well-behaved, by the way, you were a very good kid, by the way. A very well-behaved 2-year-old is still a 2-year-old,
yeah,
okay? Like straight
right.
up.
Oh
And
yeah,
then you throw that your dad, like, there wasn't, I mean, I don't, she's like saying like the screw loose, but like he wasn't to support her, and she was put in a situation. I mean, she's just showing me like all of these things that were really complicated, but she really wants me to tell you that you were a good boy. You really, really, really were a good boy. She just didn't have the capacity or the tools to deal with all the, she's saying, the shit on her plate. Like that was just, and back asking for help. I don't think you asked for help because that was a sign of weakness, or I don't know why I'm getting that kind of impression, but she just wants you to really know that you were a really good boy. You were really, really good. And I'm not trying to make you cry again. But I just want you to know that, like, from the bottom of my heart, she's just like, he was really a good boy.
thank you.
And maybe you acted up and maybe you did this and maybe you did that, but I'm like, she's
Well,
she's just fun.
I learned how to test
You're
authority.
you're doing that. You're like you
I,
like you went from like the duck and weave
I
to,
test
oh,
authority,
okay. Yeah.
but
Okay.
also, within those moments in one of the greatest things that the abuse from my mom gave me was the understanding that I am not my body, that I am different from my body. And I could dissociate, shall we say,
Yeah.
but stay present. So I didn't just check out. Um, so there was one time, and I have brought this up in public speaking quite a number of times when I talk about perception and so the abuse from my mom kind of escalated from, say, like an open hand, and then it went into like wooden spoons and different other things like toys or what have you. But there was one time where she took a wooden spoon and she was beating me over the butt with it, and it broke. And so she got another one. And somewhere in there, she said something about, I'll give you something to cry about, or this is, I forget what exactly it was that she said. But I started saying, oh, wait a minute. So I'm not my body. So therefore, this doesn't have to hurt. Instantly, it didn't hurt. And I started laughing. I question authority. I push back on authority. And yeah, I can't even remember how old I was, like 10, 11.
Well, that's my defense mechanism, but I can just see
Yeah,
the frequency as I remote view into the situation. That just
sure.
pissed her off more.
Oh yeah. So she started, going ape crap on me. And I just started laughing more. I'm like, you can't do anything to me
Mhm.
anymore because I see it. I can see behind the curtain,
Yeah.
and you're not going to be able to do anything to me. There was a time shortly after that oh, what are they called? Child services was supposed to come in because, okay, single mom, back in the whatever 70s, 80s, early 80s. So we were on welfare. And also, I got Social Security because of my father being schizophrenic, couldn't work. So they were coming in, and she had, I think maybe a day or so earlier than that. That's when that event that I was just talking about occurred. And she said, you got to be on your best behavior, blah, blah, blah. And I said, do you want me to tell him about this? No, 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 no. And then I said all of a sudden, oh, I can't walk. I became paralyzed. And physically, I could not get up.
Yeah.
I I could not get up. And I said, no more beating me, right? No, 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 no.
Yeah.
So within a half hour, I was able to walk again
Oh, yeah.
because it was all just part of my mind. Control.
I also get that you had galactic friends and guidance that helped you with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I've ran from things. Yep.
Mm.
Until I just couldn't anymore. Right. So this is where I belong.
I have one, and his name is Fred. He helped
Yeah.
me in some pretty crazy times when I was little. And I'm just rediscovering. I'm like, "Oh, hello, old friend," right? So, at where you're going, I think you're gonna definitely reconnect for your team here, there, and everywhere. And you have a very good team around you. And you are a very good man and a very good soul. And I'm just thank you for sharing time with us today. And we went full spectrum, didn't we?
Right? I know. When, depending upon when this airs, what is it, the first weekend in May, then we will be down in Delavan, Wisconsin at the Concept
Mm.
Modalities Expo. If anyone is interested in seeing something different, experiencing something different, this is definitely the place for it. They have 2 rooms that are workshop rooms. They experience some amazing stuff down there. Sight Without Eyes, they'll be down there to teach you. And if you haven't ever experienced it or looked into it, maybe you should,
Oh
because
my
this is
gosh.
fabulous. Yeah. Yeah, this is pretty amazing stuff. But they've also got a ton of speakers. Chris Bledsoe is down there. He is the keynote speaker, and Jimmy Church is also the host.
I met him at the Conscious Life Expo like a month ago. I
Nice.
have to connect with him. He was
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
He's like, I like your energy. And I was like, you're cool. I didn't even know who he was. And like everybody knew who he was. And I was like, who's this Jimmy Church guy?
Yeah, I didn't know who the heck he was last year at all, and now we're friends on Facebook, and yeah,
I
now
was
I
like,
know who he
hey.
is. Yeah,
He's like, like,
and then
oh, hi.
also as far as 1111 Collective Connection community, there's going to be a number of practitioners that are going to be down there. Like I said, Dave Anderson will be there, Matt Schmidt, Marianne Morris, myself, Julie, Heather Tucker is going to be there. As a just an attendee. Laura Muchmore will also be there as an attendee. My goodness, I don't want to leave anybody out.
Group.
Yeah, so there's going to be a large group of practitioners there from the 1111, but this is also, I think there's 3 different areas for vendors this year.
Nice.
There's a very large, I think 300 seat hall for the main speakers. Deb Shakti is going to be there. My God, there's just a ton. Sarah Breskman Cosme will also be there as a speaker.
You guys, this is gonna be a great show. Okay, so that is May 1st through 3rd in Delavan. Is that at the Lake Lawn Lodge?
Yes, it is.
Ha!
Yes, it is.
There we go. Beautiful facility.
Yeah, it's a really, really special place. It's just amazing. They also then go out and they do night watches for craft. So I don't know. Should be really, really awesome.
Oh my gosh, it's gonna be great. Okay, you guys.
My goodness. Also, Melissa Kane, who is also a part of the 1111, is actually the person that puts together the contact modalities, and she will, of course, also be there. So just want to make sure.
Say hi to everybody.
Right? I know.
Have everybody wear a pin, or like make like a little thing that they can have so they can, or by their booth or where they're at, so they can be curious with the QR code. You should make t-shirts. I like t-shirts. Okay, everybody, this was I can't believe it's been an hour and a half. This has been a great Being Curious show. This one is brought to you by Jackie Barker from Align Soul Design. We're going to give a little bit of a little ooh for her.
Thank you, Jackie.
Jackie is great. And we should get her a part of the 1111 collective community. We'll talk about that later. Okay. Frank, thank you.
Thank you, Kelly.
And I can't wait we're going to be doing my interviews in the coming weeks. So all is good.
I should block off more time.
Yeah, sometimes this happens. We get into like a little time warp and then jump dimensions and it's
I
all good.
hear you. I know.
Everyone gets to watch it. Take care of yourself and we will talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Today's Being Curious show is brought to you by Aligned Soul Design. Aligned Soul Design offers website design, branding, SEO, and print design for spiritually grounded business owners, creating clear, cohesive visuals that reflect your work and support how you show up online and in print. Founder Jackie Barker helps you strengthen the systems behind your marketing so your message is easy to understand and built to grow with you. Learn more at alignedsoul.design.